Welcome to Living a Sustainable Dream. My name is Mark, and thank you for joining us on the last of the raising of the walls for our 40 by 50 foot shop. This is the south wall, and the span is 40 feet. Actually, it's a little bit less than that. It is 39 feet and 1 inch, and it is because the two walls go all the way to the end. That are the east and west walls. Hey, if you have liked these videos that I'm putting up, if you enjoyed these episodes, give a like and a subscribe, or even comment below on some of the do-it-yourself weekend warrior projects that you guys are doing at home. Just kind of, let people know where you're at. And we also comment too and care where you guys are at too. So here we go. This piece of the wall is for the shop side. It is the 10-foot high doors that are being raised in position, and yet it was only 16 feet wide for us to do this because there's going to be two garages on this side, and this was possibly the most difficult wall to place. In fact, it just kept getting stuck. And what I mean by stuck is that it would get stuck on the windowsill, then it would get stuck on each stud. And it kind of reminded me of this video playing in July. All right, today we're looking at about a month and almost a week after we received the wood, and we are going to be finishing the last section of the wall. So we already got a portion of it up, and this is the section we're working on right now. And I got two 8x5 windows going in above a 16 by 7 foot door, and I've already had some major screw ups already. So this is my header for the garage door, and I'll be sheeting this in a little bit. But what I did is I screwed up. I nailed that top board down, which is supposed to have two support boards with a support post in between every 4 feet. And what I did is I nailed it down when I still have, several cripples and jams left to go. So I know not much of a computer drawing here, but this is where I'm talking about the box. This is the header. Here are the cripples that need to be attached, and the jams and the support studs. I didn't nail any of those down, so I had to pull the whole board off and I'm gonna have to redo the whole thing. So I did that last night, and now I'm gonna start nailing these in and hopefully get that formulated up to get those two windows done today and then raise it up. So that is the goal. We shall see. It's been a rough road of mistakes and some cool blessings. That crane there is getting the work done. It's going to survive all 8 lifts, and we're excited to retire that thing. And then I realized when I was hanging the plywood back there, the sheathing, did it wrong, so I got to pull those off and start over again. So fun stuff. As you can see now, the other side is in place, and we have built the other section. My wife and I came up with this idea that we would build half the wall on this one and raise it, instead of building the whole wall and then raising each half next to each other. And there's baby, actually, River. So we had to get the tractor in, and it's kind of like painting yourself in a corner. By having that first section raised and being tall enough, we were able to drive the tractor in, so we wouldn't have the tractor stuck inside the shop until the walls were raised. And that's kind of how we kind of got around some of these storms that would show up. Here we are, and we are racing a storm, as I noted before, and the storm kept kind of coming in and out. The wind kept picking up, and you'll see when we do a time lapse how it just kind of affects the build. This wall, which was 23 feet in length, 23 feet wide, went up actually relatively easy. A lot easier than the other section before it, and it literally just fit right in place like a perfect piece to a puzzle. I'm noticing that when we were building, the boards that we had were so warped. I had to use C-clamps to straighten the studs out, the jambs, to get everything kind of to work together to even meet the 24-inch on center. And I found that some of the boards were warped so badly and twisting that it would throw the 24 on center off by 1/2 inch or 1 inch. And it's just frustrating. But everything has come together. We are now in the process of sheeting the entire shop build, and there'll be a future video on that showing what I did there with Krista. As you can see, the crane is working, and this last raise was probably, my wife and I were so thankful to retire this thing. It was pitching to the right pretty heavy. It was groaning. It served its purpose, and it did a very good job. And it did 8 sections, and this was a very large section. The side behind it, which is the west side behind the crane there, is 50 feet in length, and we raised, I believe, a 25 section and 25 foot sections on that. This is only a 23 foot section, but look how clean that thing slides into place. I just had to add that clip by Doc Brown. I love the fact that it's the storm. And while we were raising this thing, we were racing the storm, and it rained later that night. Actually, we put all our equipment away, and it started to rain. So we were really racing the clock. We just didn't take the time. The nice thing about the storm is it lowered the temperature from going from the high 90s and low hundreds. We dropped into the high to mid 80s, and Chris and I were able to keep going without getting overtired. And we noticed that with the heat, our bodies just don't do so well in the heat, and we just start slowing down, and things just don't seem to click in place as easily. So what we do is we work in the mornings, and then we work in the evenings, and we take the afternoon off. So about 11:30, it's just too hot to work, and so we shut down. And then around 5:30, 6 at night, we go back out and work until about 8:45 to 9, putting stuff away and cleaning up the job site. So here we are putting everything together. That was, as you saw, I put a board that goes across that connects the two wall pieces together, and that's what I'm doing there with all those clamps and then nailing it in place. It was a real trick getting the crane down at that time, and the reason why you'll see in a moment is those windows, those large windows up front, and those windows are 5 feet high by 8 feet wide each, and they're going to be in a sitting room up there in the upper part of the shop. So there I'm getting the last clamp down. Everything's kind of coming together here. So I had to pull a little bit further back to drop the crane on this, and the reason why is because of those windows. And you didn't want to get hung up on the windowsill. And the crane does drop. It's 26 feet. The tractor is 11 feet, about 12 when you pull off the board, which is actually it's about 29 feet. We're about 41 feet. I have probably about 9 feet of clearance. And I showed you that in video 3, how tight it is to bring that thing down. So here we are bringing it down for the last time. So what I have to do is I have to raise it and then lower it as much as I can to pull the tractor forward. And as I pull the tractor forward to get off the crane that's holding, because the tractor is holding it in place, the front line that's going to the front of the tractor to raise it will start raising it back up the further I go. So I have to keep lowering it and keeping it in check as I go down. And you don't want it to drop too quick because it could cause the line to snap, and it's going literally over my head as I'm driving the tractor forward. So it's this constant being aware of everything, and communication between Chris and I is really, really important. And with the tractor motor running, it's usually yelling back and forth. There's nothing malicious or mean-spirited in anything we're doing. We're trying to keep each other safe and make sure that we're heard with each other. And hey, I figure after 29 years of marriage, the fact that we can, put something like this down on the ground, or even build a building like this, and then be best of friends the next day is just, it's a miracle in today's society. And my wife is my best friend, and I'm hers, and it's a good working relationship together to do these projects. So you just don't take things personally when the tractor motor's roaring and the crane is squealing and things are getting knocked around. But look at her, she's worked in. There it goes, just smooth. Now watch this. I'll pull forward, and there it goes, right back up. She yells at me, I put it back down. That's just how it goes. And that's it. It is done. No more walls to raise. So thank you for joining us to just, support our channel. We obviously get ad revenue from each view that these videos promote, and your subscription is really important. So please subscribe if you haven't done so. We have more content coming. And this is you're getting to see the celebratory moment in which we are just kind of enjoying it. And I threw this little clip in from Back to the Future 3 because, why not? And the reason I thought of the scene is because watch my wife here. There she goes. Celebratory dance. And there's the moonwalk. The walls are fine. All the walls are up on our shop build. Taking a break over there. And my wife and I are about to celebrate. We are going to retire the crane crane that we built to raise it. And this was probably our smoothest lift as we finished up the last wall, the last section today. Started on June 19th with the wood delivery. The wood was dropped off at our place. And we finished on June 25th, the framing part anyways. Now, start sheathing the walls. And we're going to retire this, and I'm going to pull this thing apart. It's 26-foot long boom on this crane. Pull it all apart, and we'll use it for either fire blocking in the walls or other pieces that we need. I have another idea of building a lever system to help with sheathing, so I might repurpose it for that. All right, thanks for joining us on Living Sustainable Dream. Keep you posted on the next project or next part of this project.